Anaheim, California. What was meant to be a night of celebration quickly turned into a moment of heartbreak for BTS fans around the world. During his emotional solo concert in Anaheim, Kim Seok-jin, better known as Jin of BTS, broke down in tears on stage, leaving fans shocked and concerned. But the real question haunting the ARMY now is, was Jungkook the reason behind his tears? As Jin performed his heartfelt new single, I'll Be There, his voice cracked and tears streamed down his face, causing the crowd to fall into a stunned silence. Many interpreted the moment as a genuine outpouring of emotion from the eldest BTS member. But not long after, fans began to speculate online that Jungkook's absence from the concert may have played a role in Jin's emotional breakdown. He looked around the crowd as if searching for someone, one fan posted on X, formerly Twitter. I think he was hoping Jungkook would be there. Theories quickly emerged after eagle-eyed fans noticed that Jungkook posted a behind-the-scenes video of his own solo recording session just hours before Jin took the stage. While some saw it as an innocent coincidence, others viewed it as a deliberate move to overshadow Jin's big moments. It almost felt like a subtle message, like Jungkook didn't care, one user wrote. To add fuel to the fire, Jin made a cryptic remark during his encore. Sometimes the people you expect to be there aren't. The line, though vague, sent fans spiraling into speculation mode. Many believe it was a direct reference to Jungkook, who has been noticeably distant from Jin's solo promotions. The incident has caused a divide within the BTS fandom. While some ARMYs urge others not to jump to conclusions, others are demanding answers. We've supported them all these years together. If something's wrong, we deserve the truth, said a longtime fan at the venue. So far, neither Jin nor Jungkook has addressed the controversy directly, but the silence is only making things worse. Whether this was a moment of raw vulnerability or a sign of something deeper, one thing is certain. The bond between BTS members is being closely scrutinized like never before. As Jin wiped his tears and attempted to continue singing, the atmosphere in the venue shifted from excitement to deep concern. Fans, many of whom had traveled from across the globe, were visibly emotional. Some cried with him, others stood frozen, unsure whether they were witnessing a touching artistic moment or something far more personal unfolding on stage. Social media exploded within minutes of the performance. Videos of Jin's tearful rendition of I'll Be There went viral, but the conversation quickly moved beyond the music. The narrative intensified when fans pointed out the stark contrast between Jin's solo efforts and the overwhelming attention Jungkook has received for his recent international performances. Some fans even resurfaced past interviews where Jin expressed feelings of loneliness and pressure during his military service and the lead up to his solo debut. Statements that now seem more layered and revealing in hindsight. Adding more intrigue, a moment captured backstage showed Jin walking off the stage quietly, eyes downcast, and staff members giving him space, a rare sight for someone usually so animated and lighthearted. While big hit music has remained silent on the issue, that silence has only deepened speculation. Fans who have followed BTS for years are struggling with the shift in dynamic. The group's image has always been one of unity, brotherhood, and mutual support, but recent solo pursuits appear to be testing those bonds. For some, Jin's tears were simply the weight of the moment, a triumphant return, an emotional song, an outpouring of love from fans. For others, they were a cry for something or someone missing. Whether the public ever learns the full story or not, the Anaheim concert will be remembered not just as a milestone in Jin's solo journey, but as a moment that cracked open the carefully curated image of BTS's unbreakable brotherhood. And until someone, Jin or Jungkook, chooses to speak, the ARMY can only speculate, hope, and wait. Because sometimes the loudest moments come from silence. In the days following the concert, the silence from both Jin and Jungkook has only grown louder. fans have combed through their recent social media activity, searching for clues, likes, comments, any hint of interaction, but what they found is a digital void. No supportive posts from Jungkook, no behind-the-scenes photos together, just parallel lives, moving forward on separate paths. This perceived distance is a stark contrast to the early BTS years, when Jin and Jungkook were often seen joking around, sharing candid moments, and expressing genuine admiration for each other. Back then, their age difference didn't feel like a gap, it felt like a bridge. Jin, the caring hyung, Jungkook, the golden maknae who often looked up to his older members. But now, with each of them pursuing solo careers under the bright, unrelenting spotlight, that closeness seems to have faded or been replaced by something more complicated. Fans have also noted a shift in tone during Jin's recent interviews. In one segment aired just before the Anaheim show, he talked about how sometimes you realize you're more alone than you thought. Though he smiled as he said it, the statement lingered, especially in the context of his onstage tears. The situation has left many armies feeling torn. Some defend Jungkook, arguing that he's been overwhelmed with his own schedule and reading too deeply into Jin's emotional moment is unfair. Others insist that the silence speaks volumes, and that if Jungkook truly supported Jin's solo debut, he would have found a way to show it. Even a simple message could have calmed the storm. Meanwhile, fan theories continue to spiral. Some speculate that internal disagreements over music styles, management priorities, or even simple personal drift may have contributed to the rift. Others believe it's just a growing pain, an inevitable consequence of 7 individuals trying to redefine themselves outside of the group that shaped their identities. Jin, for his part, has thrown himself into the Run Jin tour with determination. His performances remain powerful and passionate, but there's an undeniable edge of vulnerability to them now. Each lyric he sings, especially from his new single, I'll Be There, carries an emotional weight that feels personal, even painful. And for those who saw him cry on stage that night in Anaheim, it's hard to shake the feeling that his tears weren't just about music. As the fandom holds its breath, waiting for some sign of reconciliation or at least clarity, the moment continues to resonate. It's a reminder that behind the polished stages and perfectly produced albums, these idols are human too. They feel, they hurt, they miss people. In the quiet that followed the concert, something unspoken lingered, not just in the air of the venue that had held thousands of voices, but across the entire BTS fandom. That image of Jen, standing alone under the spotlight, eyes wet with emotion, has become etched in the memory of everyone who watched it live or through a shaky fan cam replayed a million times online. It wasn't just a performance, it was a moment of undeniable human fragility. Back in Seoul, media outlets have started to pick up on the growing speculation. Some have reached out to HYBE for comments, but as expected, no statements have been made. The label's silence has only fueled rumors, and as with all things BTS, the fans are the ones left to fill in the gaps, with theories, with emotions, with hope. Some fans believe this isn't just about Jungkook. To them, Jin's tears represent something deeper. The weight of returning from military service, of re-entering a world that's moved forward while you stood still. A world where your closest friends and bandmates are no longer beside you on stage, no longer sharing the burden. The solo path, once seen as a creative rebirth, now feels more like isolation, cloaked in applause. But for others, the absence of Jungkook in this moment, his silence, his distance, feels too loud to ignore. In a group known for their brotherhood, every member's presence has always been symbolic. And this time, his absence was louder than any cheer in that stadium. Still, ARMY remains divided. While some call for compassion, reminding others that these are individual artists navigating the complexities of fame and friendship, others hold on to hurt. They replay Jin's emotional encore over and over, searching for confirmation of what they already fear, that something has shifted. Despite the chaos, Jin remains poised in public, ever the professional, ever the eldest Hyung. In interviews and on social media, he smiles, promotes his music, thanks his fans. But the softness in his voice, the fleeting sadness in his eyes betrays what words will not. It's as though he's learned to carry this new version of solitude quietly, without complaint. Perhaps this is simply a chapter of growth. Perhaps the connection between Jan and Jungkook isn't broken, only stretched by time, distance, and the weight of individual journeys. But for now, in the absence of answers, all anyone can do is wonder. And as the lights dim and the crowd's cheers fade into silence, one truth remains. Even the brightest stars sometimes feel alone in the sky. And yet, despite the silence, despite the swirling questions and speculative posts, life moves forward. Jin continues his tour, city by city, song by song, smiling for fans, bowing with gratitude, laughing during fan interactions as though nothing had ever cracked beneath the surface. But those who've watched him long enough can see the difference. The smile lingers a little less, the laughter doesn't always reach his eyes. There's something about performing alone after years of standing shoulder to shoulder with 6 others that must feel like stepping onto a familiar stage in an unfamiliar body. The choreography may be different, the lyrics new, but the instinct to look to the side, to share a glance, to exchange a wordless signal of camaraderie, that doesn't fade easily. And when that instinct is met with emptiness, it leaves a hollow echo. For Jin, who has always embraced the role of the caretaker, the one who cheers up the group with dad jokes and warm affection, there's a bittersweet irony in needing support now, and perhaps not feeling it fully returned. Whether or not Jungkook meant to distance himself, whether it was timing, scheduled conflicts, or unspoken tension, his absence has taken on a weight far beyond its physical meaning. In a world as intensely observed as BTS, every silence becomes a statement. Every lack of reaction becomes a headline. And still, no one speaks. Not Jin, not Jungkook, not their team. Not even the other members, who likely know more than they're willing to say. Because that's the burden of fame at this level. Not just managing your own feelings, but the feelings of millions who see your relationship as part of their own story. Every tear, every embrace, every missing interaction becomes public property. Meanwhile, fans write letters. They trend hashtags of support. They post side-by-side photos of Jin and Jungkook from happier times, moments where the distance didn't yet exist. Some are angry, some are protective, some are just sad. But all of them in their own way are grieving something. Perhaps the loss of an illusion, or perhaps the slow unraveling of something real. The music, of course, remains. I'll Be There climbs charts, gains praise, moves people. But for those who heard it live, who saw Jin close his eyes and hold the final note through trembling lips, the song has taken on a new layer. It's no longer just a ballad. It's a message, a longing, maybe even a quiet promise to someone who wasn't there to hear it. And so, the story continues, not in loud declarations, but in pauses, in glances that don't happen, in empty seats in the front well, in questions left unanswered.